think as a creative, that's got to be one of the most like common. So, how long you been an Uber driver?
Yeah,
kind of questions of all time, dude.
Bro, it's like, yeah, how long you been doing this? About, I think like, what's 2025? Yeah, 10 years, 11 years. And you're just like, my brain just goes to all the roller coasters of all the ups and downs that like I went through just to still work with a camera and not give up. Like, there's so much behind it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can start there.
Dude, let's do it.
All right. So first off, never done a podcast before. I'm usually behind the camera, right? So being in front of the camera is usually like a little intimidating for me, but once I get going, like I'll be fine. All right. So everyone's played Call of Duty, right?
Of course.
You played Call of Duty. We're around the same age. Middle school started for me, like for editing and all that, was probably around 7th and 8th grade. So I didn't really pick up a camera at first. I picked up editing.
Interesting.
I saw all these cool like Call of Duty CS:GO edits, and you know they would make the song or make the edit to the song. It was like
quick scope compilation.
Yeah. It was all these like early dubstep songs, right?
Yeah.
And like all these like streamo songs, blah, blah blah. It's just that's how it started. So I picked up. I think my grandma had a old Dell. And it had like maybe 2 gigs of RAM. And then I somehow pirated, I think it was Sony Vegas 11. You ever heard of Sony Vegas? Aw, dude. So everyone used that. But like, dude, I would pretty much, I didn't have a way of recording clips of myself playing Call of Duty. And you would use like an external recorder and you would plug it into your Xbox and it would record your gameplay. But nowadays we have like screen capture and it would just automatically just get sent to your hard drive. This you had to like set up everything, record your gameplay. So like I was editing other people's like clips that were just like super famous from like Soar, Phase, all these big like trick shotting. They would put up their clips for download on YouTube. And I would just download it. And
these are full game clips.
Yeah, these are like full gameplay clips of like the most like iconic clips of them, like, doing a 360 YY ladder stall, blah, 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 whatever. Like, and he would edit to that, right? And they would be like 23 frames or 29 frames. So there was like no chance of slowing it down, right?
Right.
So I started downloading a bunch of those clips. I would make edits and like those edits would take forever to render, dude. I remember putting some sort of effect on it and it would take like 6 hours because my Dell was just not up to par, bro.
Just a dinosaur.
Just a dinosaur. Like I can make like quick like 15, 30-second edits, but like it would take forever to make them. So started out doing gaming stuff. It started just made like a YouTube channel of like, I forgot what my channel name was, but it was something edits, right? And that's what all my friends did. That we literally sat and played games. Like gaming was a huge part of my childhood growing up. And it was like another creative outlet of like, oh, cool, I can take gameplay and edit it and make it look cool and add all these cool effects. And like, I remember downloading this one a plugin called Twixtor. And if anyone knows Twixtor, it was like the program to use slow-mo in. Like it would slow your clip down like 100% and make it like super like slow-mo. Like
even at 24 frames, you could just rock it.
Yeah, it would like AI replace it before we even knew what AI replacement was. It was like frame blending, optical blending or whatever. But like you would like pick up your phone or there would be a shot, right? And like you can see like the bolt come back and like the shell eject. And,
nice.
And then people like edit their like name on the shell coming out and shit. It was so cool. Yeah, my computer didn't like that. Fast forward, the same group of people that I was gaming with, Lane Abshire. I honestly, if it wasn't for Lane, I wouldn't really gotten into cameras. So it was like, actually, I think I fast forward a little bit. Okay. So we'll go back. So after gaming, right, I found a GoPro. This was like probably the start of high school. I would always take this. It was like a Hero 3 and I would always like, I started making like filming like car stuff, like just your standard Hero 3 with like no focal length. I'm just like going around cars and stuff, or like me and my friends like hanging out. Or like the biggest part of what got me into it was taking it and going to McCall for the 4th. Like my friends, I would always go. We had a huge group of friends, and I would always be the one like filming, and like what I said to you earlier, it's cringe at first, right? It's like, oh, dude, this dude's just making videos, or like it's whatever. Like I was like super like passionate about it because I was like, oh, I can create this and like create something super sick. Coming from gaming videos where I would make a cool video, I can make a cool video with like real life footage. So like,
Yeah.
so
Did you have an intrinsic motivation at all when it came to like recording stuff with your friends where it was something like, we're going to capture these memories and we're going to have them later? Did you want to like have a successful YouTube channel? Like what was the thing in the back of your mind?
I think it was more of just like to have the memories for later. YouTube was like, I never really knew the right path for YouTube or like how to like, everyone wanted to make YouTube videos, right? In this field that we're in, you either did it or you were working for someone else for their YouTube channel.
Right.
I think my YouTube channel now, it's just all of just memories. Like sometimes I'll just go back and look at it. But at the time, it was just more for memories, making cool videos with friends. Like if it popped off, it popped off. I wasn't like, like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah,
It was just
yeah.
there. Like everyone could go watch it.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of how it started, was me just bringing my GoPro around and with my friends, and we would go cliff jumping up in McCall. Then we would go to Emmett, and like, it was just a good all around camera. Now, was it ideal for like, the cinematographer standard, whatever? No, it wasn't. So after that, this was still freshman year, sophomore year of high school, still messing around with GoPro stuff. And I picked up my first camera. My very first DSLR was a Nikon D3100. And I was like, holy shit, dude, this has like focal length. I can like zoom in on objects and there's depth of field. I was like, dude, this is game changer for me, bro. It shot like, I want to say 1080 at 23 frames, but at that time I was sick, right?
And you had your slow-mo AI. So
Dude,
you're
yeah, I was like,
to
dude,
go.
I was about to cook up some edits, and then that I kind of messed around with that for the summer. I got into taking photos, so that's where Lane comes in. Lane Abshire, he introduced me to like car photography and car videos. I was more interested in the video portion, but I didn't have the camera to achieve what I wanted or achieve the look. So like I would film stuff with my camera, but I would mainly do photos. So I learned like the whole photo aspect of like how to properly light cars, or like what a CPL is, and like all these like different camera stuff that I didn't know, right? And I went to all these other car events in Boise and in Utah. I went to, well, that was, starting out with the D3100. I did all that with him. So yeah, it was mainly just running around Boise and Utah with a Nikon D3100. And that camera, I don't even know what I did with that camera. I don't know who I sold it to, but I wish I like still kept it so I could have had it framed on my
Throw
wall.
it in a shadow box.
Yeah, it's been like, you taught me how to like work with nothing. You know what I mean? Like it was just a standard D3100 and a kit lens.
Yeah.
And I was like never charging people for stuff. Like I just was like hit people up on Instagram and be like, hey, can I shoot your car for free? Like, or I would just go tag along with my buddy Lane that was getting paid from these people, because he did years of it, like years of photography. Like that's what he specialized in. He would be in school and like teach. He was like the photo teacher pet, from what he told me. Like he would teach other people how to use Photoshop. Like he took that class. I think it was just like photography 1 and 2 in high school, and like he already knew it, so like he would like help other people how to run Photoshop and all that. So but yeah, so like that was my freshman sophomore year. But also I knew I was gonna jump around.
That's all right.
My brain is
we're here for it.
But high school is kind of like where I started to learn about everything, like starting out the fundamentals of filming and like just production, because I took broadcasting. Shout out Andy Favor. You were my broadcasting teacher. If you're still there, hell yeah. If not, hell yeah. I don't know. He taught me everything. It was a group of, I had a good class, and from broadcasting, I think it was Video Tech 1 and 2, and then you did broadcasting junior and senior year. So Video Tech 1 and 2, you had only, I think, 60 minutes, whatever period it was. But we would do, there would be like weekly or bi-weekly like projects that he would have us work on, like a horror film or like a stop motion film or a music video. There was like all these lists of stuff that he had us do with cameras that I was like, oh shit, like this is really cool. Like you'd get in like groups of I think 4 or 5, and then like we would go into the gear room, grab a tripod, and then grab like this Canon uh, X. I don't know what it was. It was like this Canon that was like it's like one of those camcorder Canons. I can't really remember.
Better than your Nikon for video.
100%. 100%. I think that shot like 60 frames
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
and it was like super buttery, right? But we would film all those projects, and then that's how I learned how to use Premiere.
Gotcha.
And so like we would go out in the beginning of the class, get our shot list. We'd, do all the stuff. We'd be running around the school. Like we were the class that didn't have to, we were able to go anywhere. And, while everyone's stuck in class, we're just running around making dumb videos in the hallway or like outside or whatever. Like we were just had to stay on campus. So
Right.
we would do all this stuff. And that's where I learned how to I got really into like making videos I woke up and went to school 5 days a week, and I was thrown into a class that taught you about cameras.
So
I was like,
cool. Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah. Fast forward the freshman and sophomore year, got into broadcasting, and then broadcasting was kind of the same. But broadcasting was your first 2 periods. So it was like, I think an hour long. So I think the first periods were only like 30 or 45 minutes. I don't know how long periods now are for classes, but I just remember like that was like a good chunk of my morning was broadcasting. And broadcasting was like what everyone wanted to do. We did the morning announcements. So like we would have like a little studio that we'd all set up, and like I was like the news anchor at one point, and like we would have other people be like camera ops and like run the teleprompters, and like you would have this like glass like a glass little studio that disconnected you, but like you can see like the studio where everyone was talking, and then everyone running the live cam operations and like all the audio. Forgot what the technical positions were, but that was fun. It was like a group of 8 of us that would do the morning announcements and be like, oh, prom king and queen, or Eagle High won this football game, or like the ladies soccer team, blah, blah, blah. It was cool because like we're just all working around cameras and like just creating something as a collective.
Yeah.
So I think that was like my first collective experience was like creating the morning announcements with like all my friends in high school. Now,
can I pause right there?
Yeah.
So I think this is such a cool like bridge that you're making, because you're doing like your own projects and you're doing stuff, but you're also like behind the camera and in front of the camera for all of this, right?
Yeah. So like you would have your personal projects, and then at the last like I think like 35 minutes, depending on what we had to like broadcast on, you would work as a team and be like, hey, cool, all you guys that were like doing jobs this week, and each person had a different job each week. Like you wouldn't do the same thing. Okay. So you would be like, oh, the person that doesn't like to talk on camera, you're the anchor. You're like, shit, dude. I had to talk in front of the class, and like, you would see the morning announcements the next period, and you'd just be sitting there listening to your own voice over the TV, and everyone's watching it. So it's just like, it's cool. So yeah, it's you get thrown into your personal projects and then working as a team in that class, which was honestly, now look at a good structure. Yeah. It's really cool.
Well, and when we were talking about the cringe factor off mic, I think that's one of my favorite conversations around creativity in general. And I'm curious what it was like for you when you started filming your own projects on your GoPro and like doing some of the car photography stuff. And then once you started like getting in front of an entire school as the news anchor, like underclassmen kind of vibes. What were some of the feedback that you were getting around you, both like from your homies while you had the GoPro and then like around school as you're doing some of this like broadcasting stuff?
I think majority of the feedback was like really good. Like they're like, oh yeah, like I could never do that. I could never be in front of the camera and talk in front of people, The other portion of it, because like the own personal projects, I would either put them on YouTube, or I think I could have sworn I'd put them on Instagram, but like that was when I think Instagram only allowed like 15 to 30 second videos.
Gotcha.
And they weren't real format. They were horizontal.
Yeah.
Horizontal's the best.
Rip.
Just saying.
R.I.P.
But it was like that. And I would like the videos I would make, like the longer stuff would definitely be on YouTube, but the shorter stuff would be on Instagram. And it's like, oh yeah, this is cool. It was like when Instagram started to bridge the photo and video aspect together, where it wasn't just like all photo.
Yeah.
So like all my friends would just be like, yo, that's super sick. Or like I started getting into like, skiing edits. And then that's where, that was a big part of my life too, was like skiing and filming. because it was just one of my hobbies that I just love doing, and it was fun to capture those moments with my friends that like I know that we'll look back on and be like, yo, I'm glad we did that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was a solid like positive feedback. Everyone would it got to the point I think where like we would go and do stuff, and it was that cliche like, yo, did you bring your camera?
Dude.
And you're just like, damn, you're like, you just want to hang out with me? It's like, you know,
Right.
personality.
Seriously.
But that's, dude, even to this day, like anytime I go do something, like there's always a camera on me. It's always like my FX3 or like my Fuji film for like photos.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the kind of feedback. Everyone was hyped about it.
Were you getting any haters at the time outside of the friends and stuff that you were shooting for?
I think there wasn't really any. I don't think there was any hate, and if there was, I didn't really like pay too much attention to it because like it was something that I enjoyed doing. And why would you hate on someone for doing something that they love? You know what I mean? It's like you might not see it, but like that it brings me happiness. It's like it's my creative process. I've always wanted to be creative in some sort of way, and cameras were the gateway to me being like showing my vision to everyone, because I wanted to be a graphic designer for like the longest time, I guess, in like high school. But I was like, I don't know shit about that, so I'm not gonna do that. But creating videos and photos is fun. But yeah, I don't think no hate. It was more maybe just like little jabs of your friends like being dicks. You're just like, oh, so like you gonna film this, or like you gonna film this or that or blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna film it and make a cool video, and then they would see the video and be like, oh, that's cool.
Gotcha.
Right, glad you did
yeah.
that. But yeah, I don't think there was any negativity around that.
It seems like throughout your history, especially like in the beginning parts of that, it sounds like you were able to create super freely and just like pick projects that already fit into what you're doing. Like you were already skiing, you were already going to McCall, you were already playing Call of Duty, and then you just like looped those into your creative process.
Yeah, like, and it's still to this day too, I loop a lot of things into the creative process of whatever hobby, whatever I'm doing. Like I find out how to be creative with it and like show it to people. So like honestly, that's a really good way of you putting it. That you putting that is whatever I did, I found out a way to be creative with it and show other people and like process it or capture the process.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Like whether it would be on a boat with friends or hiking or skiing or biking or whatever, like I was always doing something. And gaming, I went down the little gaming rabbit hole of trying to make my own gaming channel and like gaming with friends. And honestly, I'm glad we never did that, because it probably would have been canceled if we ever were to upload those videos. And I mean, everyone's been there, man.
Keep them in the vault.
Yeah, those are locked away. Dude. Never with this day and age. Yeah. Yeah. So that was. It gets even crazier too. It's the Brandon lore with the camera. So freshman and sophomore year were video tech. Junior and senior year were broadcasting. And my senior year, so 4 years of this, 3 years, 4 years of this, I was always running around creating stuff with the camera. And not a lot of people know this, but I almost didn't make some people graduate during our senior graduation. Due to a video
get a little trouble.
Yeah, due to a video I made. And it's honestly will forever go down as like I didn't know it was a big deal at the time, but then like other people heard about it in different schools. Like, dude, what, like that's so crazy. Like, you almost gonna make your whole class graduate, or they threatened to make us not graduate.
Was it like a senior prank kind of thing?
Nah, I'll explain it. So. I was very fortunate to have like a huge group of friends in our senior class. Our senior class was very like friends with everyone, even friends at different schools. Like everyone was just nice to each other. Obviously, there's probably some people that like could say something like say differently, but like my experience, like I was the person that I like to be friends with everyone, no matter what you did or who you were. Like I would always try to be friends with you, different or not. Like we're gonna be homies no matter what.
Right.
So. My senior year, we graduate, right? And I think it's like 2 weeks before our graduation, we decided to do a camping trip up in Crouch.
Okay.
So Crouch, Idaho, summer of it was like spring of 2016, whenever it started to be nice out.
Yeah.
I decided there was like 60 of us, dude. I still have to find the video because I think I removed it off YouTube, or I put it under a different account and like just let it live.
Let it on the burner account.
Yeah. But long story short, it's a video of all of us. It's pretty much like I went up to everyone. Everyone that was there, and you know, we were drinking. We didn't really have anyone like smoking in it, right? But it was mainly just like having a good time partying in the mountains. Like we were just right on this little lake creek, and everyone's playing like beer pong, and yeah, it was just a full camping experience that we did for a night, and I filmed it all.
It's like Idaho meets Project X.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what it was. It was like the Project X for our class, or for like our senior camping trip, and like the song I put to it was "Pursuit of Happiness" by Kid Cudi and the Steve Aoki.
Yeah,
remix.
hell yeah, dude.
So I was like, hell yeah, dude, I'll have to try to find it.
Linked in the show notes below.
Yeah, dude. But like we were all so young in it, and like you don't really think about your digital footprint at the time, right? Like, yeah. So like I'm like, oh yeah, let me just upload this to YouTube.
Your guidance counselor would have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're like, you got really, guys? Like,
really?
I mean, that's kind of what happened. So I made that video, really not thinking about it, that there'd be any repercussions, or like we didn't really do anything illegal in it. The only thing that we did was drinking underage. But
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. We weren't. But like no one was driving. Everyone was literally like, keys were away. No one was like drunk driving at all. We were all just literally partying in the woods, minding our own business, not doing anything to anyone. Like we're just having a good time. Like everyone's friends here. Cool. We're all gonna start our drinking era.
Yeah.
So I made that video. I posted it probably like a week. We still had some school time left, and I think we had like a week left. So like classes were kind of like, we already did our final tests and all that, and like, you know, you're barely at school that last final week for a senior. You're getting ready to graduate. So posted it. We go do our mock graduation at the BSU
Taco Bell Arena.
Yeah. And we show up there. It's like 8:00, 9:00, whatever. And apparently someone's mom sent the video to our school resource officer and principal and I don't know, the whole chain of command, dude. I got it. Even all the teachers saw it, apparently. So we're getting ready to walk in. No one's in there yet. And they go, Brandon Mair, come here. And like, where's Brandon Mair? And everyone went silent. And I was like,
and this is like a 30,000 person auditorium.
Yeah. But like everyone's outside waiting to go in.
Oh, gotcha.
Before we funnel all the kids in to like do the mock ceremony of like, this is what you're going to do. I walk into like the entrance and our like resource officer is there. Some kid's dad is there that was a teacher, and he was just like, I can't even get into that. The whole chain of command of Eagle High was there, and they're like, you know, you're really putting a lot of people's like reputations on the line of like this video, because there were some kids in the video that were like already had like D1 scholarships going for golf and all that. I'm like, all right, fuck, I didn't mean for that to happen. You know, it's like, what do you mean? Like they're gonna go to college and drink anyways, but whatever. But I'm sitting there just like, holy shit, like I'm in trouble. Like they're not gonna let me graduate because of this dumb video that I made. It was sick. Yeah. Everyone liked it. I was like, I remember sending that link to like everyone in school. I was like, yo, the camping video's up. Here it is. And
don't send it to the SRO.
Yeah. God forbid, like they can just look up Eagle High camping trip on YouTube or some shit like that. I'm pretty sure that's what I labeled it. But so like I just get like, they're just grilling into me. They're just like making these like false threats. At the time I was just like, oh shit, like I'm in trouble. I probably just made X, Y, or you know, this person not graduate. I won't say names, or maybe they don't care. I don't know. It's been years now. I think our 10-year anniversary is next year. So
statute of limitations.
Yeah. But the video was sick. Getting grilled, and then we go in, right? We're the whole Eagle High faculty is there, all the teachers are there, and at this point, like they all know, right? So we're walking in, and the song that they play was "Pursuit of Happiness." The song that I put under the video, and as soon as they started playing it, everyone kind of looked at each other, and they were just like, "Oh my god!" And like most of us were just like laughing, and there's like majority of the class that like didn't know because they weren't there, but we were just sitting there like, "Holy shit!" And we all just start cracking up. I'm like, okay, like we can't be that in trouble if they're gonna like play into it. So during that, they like the principal comes up, was like, we saw the video, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. They're like, we don't know the legal actions, or like they just pretty much gave this whole speech of like the legality of it, and like if you're gonna graduate or not, and like they pretty much like fear mongered us a little bit, just like you guys are pretty much dumbasses for doing that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you guys really risk something, and blah blah blah. Like they were saying something about like the Boise County, like they couldn't do anything because we were in Crouch,
Right.
and so it was like that separation of like the police can't really do anything, so they don't have any jurisdiction. We didn't do anything illegal. It's not like we set something on fire or like damaged property. We cleaned everything up.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. So they just scared us. But yeah, that's a video that I almost didn't make some of my class graduate, because they were like threatening to like, some of you may not graduate or like have the honor of walking on the stage to grab your diploma. I'm like, man, really? Like no one died, no one got hurt. Like,
and it's over.
It's
like,
over.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, everyone had fun.
So did you like the videos? The real question.
Yeah. So did you like, comment, and subscribe? But yeah, like I was stoked that nothing happened. We still had a couple of days of school left, and like my video tech teacher said he saw the video and was just like looked at me and like shook his head, and he like laughed a little bit. He goes, "At least no one got hurt." I was like, "See, exactly." And so like they're like all the teachers that I still were the classes that we were going to like kind of poke jabs at me, because like in the beginning of the video it's like made by Brandon Mair, dude, and I was just like, yeah, I wonder who did that video. Like an idiot. Like it's like some fucking cinematic masterpiece I put together,
right.
Like some created by like Christopher Nolan type shit.
Seriously.
Yeah, all the teachers like started poking jabs at me, like, "Oh, we saw the video, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Okay, cool, nothing's gonna happen. Like, we're all still graduating." And then fast forward a couple months down the road. Actually, it was like a year. I did this wedding, and I'll get into like how I did that. But the resource officer there, he was a part of the wedding party, and he goes off record, or he's like, "Now I can finally say this." Like, we were in a golf cart on private property. I'm going to take photos of the bride and groom, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I didn't see like running into you.
Right.
And he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "Also, that video that you made in high school." He's like, "That shit was sick." And I go, "I'm like, the dude that was supposed to be like arresting us thought it was sick." I was like, "Hell yeah!" Dapped him up, and then like went on about it. I was like, "Okay, cool." Like
Finally closed the chapter on that one.
Yeah, like a year later in like 2017.
That's so sick. So I'm curious, like, obviously that's got to be such a cool feeling where like, obviously you're in a little bit of trouble, but I would imagine that not just Eagle High School knows about this at the time. I'd imagine that like everybody's talking about the video and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. Like it kind of went around. At some point I had to take down the video.
Yeah.
It's probably smart that I did. But the people that would have already saw it, like the link got sent out. The video had like thousands and thousands of views, and I was just like, holy shit, like who's watching this?
Right.
I didn't know anything about like an algorithm or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think it got picked up on like YouTube's top 10 whatever videos of the week. But yeah, it just got sent around. And even like after I had to take it down, like some people were still like messaging me for the link. They're like, "Hey man, do you still have that link?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." Still, I don't have the link anymore, but like I had to find it. But yeah, it got around really fast.
I'm curious, like,
and that was like the power of social media, right?
For sure.
It's like wildfire.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's when I first learned like, okay, digital footprint.
Yeah, for sure. You and I went to like high school, junior high, all that kind of stuff at the same time, and I feel like they were really pushing go to college the entire time.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious for you. It sounds like you weren't planning at that time on going to college or doing any of that. So I'm curious, like, did you know at that time that you wanted to pursue a career in any of this stuff, or was it still just like a creative outlet and something you were having fun with?
So it started out as just a creative outlet, just to have fun, and creative outlet.
Starbucks
just to have
burritos.
Fun. Yeah. Sneaking up. You were put into that pressure of like all your friends are going to college. Like I went to a very like, I wouldn't say like everyone was very rich, it was very, I guess like all over the place, but like majority of my school was very well off, right? So everyone's going to college. They're getting the college paid for. They're really smart in school. Like I graduated with like maybe a 2.9 or something like that, and like math and all that. Like I just school wasn't for me. And
Catch me at broadcasting,
dude. Catch me in broadcasting, dude. Running cameras and stuff. But like I felt the pressure of like, what am I doing? Like, trade school wasn't ever a thing. Like it was never brought up in high school, which I wish it was, right? It's like, hey, there's other outlets that you can do other than like the stepping stone of like, cool, finish high school. Now here's your little stepping stones of college and all this. So it's like, I think a part of me, like I applied for U of U, U of I and all that. And like, I just wasn't really about it. Like I just knew that if I went there, I would just be in debt. And like, I didn't know what I wanted to do also. Like I felt like I was forced into like, okay, cool. Like I'll take business like everyone else, you know?
Gotcha.
So I took a year off and I'm glad I did that. Looking at that time, it was very scary of like, you get put into this mold of like, okay, I got to go to college now. Like I got to figure it out. I want a good paying job and all this. And after high school, I think there was only a little bit of people that took a year off. But I started, everyone went to like U of I, U of U, everywhere. Like I was like, oh, cool. Like I'm not going to college, so I better figure it out, right? Still messing with camera stuff. Didn't really think that would be like an outlet, right? So I started working at Da Vinci's and Eagle as like a bar back, right? Did that for a little bit, and then I went to Zen Bento in Eagle and did that. Honestly, shout out Zen Bento because that taught me how to cook and meal prep and like how to cook steak, chicken, fish, rice, all that. So I enjoyed that. I always say like if I didn't do camera stuff, I would have loved to have been a chef.
Okay.
Like I would have loved to just work in like a nice kitchen
Hell
and, like,
yeah.
and like cook stuff because I love like it's therapeutic for me.
Okay.
So fast forward after that, there was this local photographer named Samuel Marvin Photography. At the time, he did all the senior portraits in the Treasure Valley. And I still think he does now. I don't think he does it as much as he did, but back in like, you know, if you were a girl or guy and, you know, you wanted professional photos taken, like you went to him. I think it was like 2013 to 2017, right? So I started working for him doing video. And this was like, oh shit, like he brought me on and was, I think I saw it on Instagram. One of my friends was working for him at the time, just doing like BTS photo and video of like these senior shoots. So like to give you kind of look into it, like we would do like 5 spots or 4 spots for a session. You know, you would get like, we would do photos, you know, 10 to 15 photos there, then go to another spot and then go somewhere for golden hour, sunset, you know, all this. So like a session was like 1 a day. Sometimes you'd do 2 a day if like you had to do it in the morning. You do like a sunrise session, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I was a BTS videographer, but I mainly did video. So like, this would be kind of like a video for the family. Like they would go in and be like, I'm thankful for so-and-so or my mom and dad for all this. And like making these like testimonials of like, hey mom, dad, you did a good job raising, you know, me. Thank you for everything. You know, it was pretty much like, here's this. And then I'm going off to college.
Right.
So high school senior photos. It was like kind of like to bridge that transition. So I was doing that, but I didn't have any gear. I think I still had that Nikon D3100, right? And I remember he was like, "Hey, cool. Like, what do you need for like video?" And I go, I don't know. I was like, I really couldn't tell you. So he pretty much got me a Canon 5D Mark IV. It just came out at the time with I think like a 24-70 2.8, a 50 millimeter G Master, and a Ronin M. You know, you remember those Ronin M's that were just like the very, very first ones. And they had that like, they were like small, the little carbon fiber ones, but they came down and you couldn't really set them on the ground, right? Every videographer that I followed was using it like in the car industry. So I was just like, holy shit, like I have a gimbal now, dude. Like I can make cool stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that for, I think I did that for like 2 years, 3 years, 2 years. But like also working with him, he taught me about how to just like run a business and not just like, oh, you can shoot video. It's like, okay, well, like, how do you keep a client keep coming back? What do you do for them to make them kind of feel like, oh shit, like this person's taking care of me? They kind of like taught me the business aspect of photo and video on like a very niche scale of like what we're doing for senior photos and all this, but it translated into things later what I was doing. But that was it. That was like I worked with under him for like 2 years, 2 years, 2 or 3 years, I can't remember. But yeah, he taught me a lot. Like taught me how to socialize, not socialize because I'm like a social butterfly, bro. You put me in a room, I'll talk to anyone. But it was more of just like the business side of like how to communicate with the client. What do you do when you first meet a client? Your work in between, and like how do you retain that client after your service is done? You know, do they keep coming back? Obviously, they kept coming back too because senior photos, they have like a brother and sister. So like in a couple of years, they'll come back. So it was kind of like this revolving door and like how to keep the client happy, right? And like give them stuff that they would think that is a huge discount, right? But like to them is a huge discount, but for you, it's like 5 more minutes of work. You know what I mean? Like give them an extra few edited photos that they didn't put on their package, right?
Yeah.
So that taught me a lot of like, cool, you're good with the camera, but here's the business side of it.
When you started getting paid to do your work, right? Like going from having, because you go from doing like car stuff, ski stuff, like a bunch of just like super fun passion projects to doing something that like, I would imagine most people don't have a passion for senior photo videos. So like, how was that transition going from working on stuff that was like mostly just for like the love of the game to doing something where you're getting paid to be creative, but it's a little bit outside of the lane that you would like choose for yourself, I suppose?
I think it was, I still did the creative stuff on the side whenever I could.
Okay.
But it was kind of like a sink or swim situation where it's like, okay, I got to create because that's my job now. Like I'm not going to college. I'm making these cool connections, but like I'm still staying like in Boise. And working with him, I was able to do senior photos and also step foot into the wedding industry too, because he would also do weddings. So I would do video and we would come as a package and I would get paid a little bit more to make a wedding video. So that was cool. Like, I think that kind of like outweighs a little bit of like, okay, cool, I can't shoot as much for myself, but I can't shoot as much for myself right now, but I'm making money and working in these different industries and like shooting differently, learning how to like shoot different styles for like, I'm not going to shoot a car, how I'm going to shoot a wedding. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It kind of taught me like how to, like capture those. So I was still able to like still create for myself. Like he let me take the equipment on like a weekend when we didn't have anything. And like, I would take it and go shoot car stuff. And that's like what allowed me to, I had the gear now. Right. And that allowed me to shoot stuff on the side. And I wasn't getting paid for that stuff. Maybe there's like one or two that people are like, yo, like love your work. How much do you charge? I was like, oh shit. Like I've never really got this far. Like I never thought someone would come to me asking for stuff. Cause I was always tied to someone.
Yeah.
And they would pay for their service, and I was kind of just like there shooting, like I would get something out of it, but not like, what do you charge for your work? And I think that was a thing of like, what is my worth? Like how do I go from here?
How'd you start to figure that out?
Sam taught me because I started doing work on the side. And Samuel Martin Photography. I would be like, hey, like, he's like, I think the conversation started was I took the camera for one weekend and he goes, are you making money doing this? I go, kind of. He's like, why aren't you making money if you're taking the equipment? He's like, how are you like charging yourself? He's like, as long as you get my work done, he's like, I don't mind you taking the equipment. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so he like sat me down and kind of like went through like how I should structure things. And like, at first I was like, I can't just ask for so much money because I don't have anything to kind of like back that up, whatever I'm shooting. Like I don't have anything to be like, oh, you want me to shoot cars? Well, here's my 50 other car videos that I made that will allow me to charge what I want to charge. Right. Yeah. So I just started off like, he kind of gave me a rough guideline. Yeah. And I think I started charging like $150 for like a 2-minute video. Right. A lot of work, right. For a 2-minute video. Sure. But I was like, I was having fun doing it. It was more like, okay, cool. I still get to make money doing something that I love. and I'm passionate about. So like, it's kind of a win-win, right? Like I didn't have to pay money for this gear that I'm able to put out this level of, I guess, quality that I wasn't able to with the Nikon D3100.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that allowed me to kind of branch out and start working with other people in the Valley with that equipment too.
Right.
So yeah.
What did you feel like at that time? Because that's got to be really cool going for like from shooting this kind of stuff for years on a passion project basis and even traveling for it to all of a sudden people are reaching out to you directly and willing to pay you money. Like, do you start to get any level of excitement around that being a thing?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting because I was like, oh shit, like people are actually reaching out and like want me to film their stuff, and like, hell yeah, like I'll do that. Like that's kind of what I wanted, right? And still in the back of my mind, I was like, is this something that I want to do? Like I was always like, okay, do I do this for a couple of years and then go pay for college, right? And like, or do I go to film school and blah, blah. I'm like, don't go to film school. That's stupid. First of all, you can go to YouTube University and learn everything. And honestly, the biggest thing is like YouTube, be a good person, and connections. Like that's the one thing that like I can say that got me where I'm at today.
It'd be a good t-shirt. Throw it on the back of a t-shirt
Yeah.
somewhere.
YouTube, be a good person, connections.
Film school 2025.
100%, bro. If you make it, just let me just put it on.
I'll
bro.
ship it to you for Christmas.
It was kind of like an oh shit moment. It wasn't like a I made it moment, but it was like, oh cool, like I'm doing something that I really enjoy and I'm getting paid to do it. And then after a couple of years, it kind of just every now and then you have to like step back and look at what you've done and what you've created and be like, oh shit, like I've done that. Like I was able to do that with a camera. And this was like the early years before I started filming like all the cool stuff.
So this is like a couple years out of high school. You're like
so
working for Sam for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, this was like 2016 to 2017 or 2018. And then, I think then I was just doing senior portrait stuff and really heavily into the car industry. So like after I was working with him, I went through like my little car era of like, I reached out to this company that did air suspension called Airlift Performance. Wrote up an email and being like, hey, like, I don't know how it started. Oh, they reached out to me because the girl I was dating at the time had bags for her E46 M3. So shout out her. If she watches this video, she knows exactly who it is. So they reached out to her or me. I think it was one of the two, but they wanted me to do an interview style. And I was like, oh shit. Like they wanted me to do an interview style on like her car, her background. They were doing like a little series on YouTube of like life on air.
Okay.
And that kind of gatewayed a friendship with their media person. And after I did that video, I was like, hey, what if I did one for myself? Like I have an 03 WRX. I would love like bags. So we signed a contract. This is like my first time doing work for a company of like them sending me stuff. And then I had deliverables to give them. So like that was my first interaction of like, I think 2017 to 2019, that era.
Okay.
And that was my first time ever doing stuff with a client where like I had to go and sign stuff and be like, cool, we want XYZ for, they sent me like valued of like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of product. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm making these videos. And then they sent me another kit for my mom for her bug. They wanted to do a Mother's Day special. So they sent me another kit for her bug, which she still has today.
Yeah.
And then it bridged out to, hey, we want to send you to all these car shows that we're sponsoring around the US. Can you pick the ones that you're able to go to and we'll pay you and we'll fly you out there? I was like, cool. So I started doing that. And that was like, I think that was my first time ever working like with a big company.
Okay.
And I was just like, hell yeah, like I get to shoot video and travel. Like, this is sick. I think at the time I remember having a sticky note on my computer saying like, your goals for the year and all that.
Yeah.
And I remember having it and being like, I want to travel for work. And I would just stare at that like all the time. And like, I started traveling some more and more and more. And then I was like, oh shit, like it's actually happening. So I started doing that and then, made all these videos for that company, sent them all the deliverables. They loved them. And so like that, I feel like that experience alone was like, okay, I'm able to make it work with a camera. Like I'm traveling for this company to cover their product that they have at a show.
Yeah.
was like, what else can it kind of like snowball effect into? You know what I mean? So cars were just like the start
Okay.
of it. I feel like.
During that time when you've got that sticky note and you're looking at it over and over again, when you finally started to get some of those travel gigs and stuff like that, are you somebody who actually feels that win when it shows up and like gets excited, or is it just, does it feel more like a checkbox where it's like, okay, I did that?
Dude, that's the hardest thing is like it works both ways. And I think the first time I was like, that's a win. Like I did it. Like hell yeah. And then like sometimes you do have to reflect on those little they could be check boxes to you, but like years ago, those were big milestones that you had, you know what I mean? And I still get that to this day where like I set out goals that I had for a year and they become check boxes. I'm like, oh shit, like I did that. Like, why didn't I just take a step back and be like, you worked your ass off for it.
Right.
You didn't celebrate. You didn't give yourself a little micro celebration because you did it.
Yeah.
And I think that I tell my friends a lot in the in the music industry. It's like, we have all these like crazy goals. And I say the music industry is because that's where I have majority of like all my cinematographer friends, videographers, like all these teams that I've worked with. We always talk about like step back and smell the roses sometimes, because you never know, like you're working so hard to check off these boxes and then like your new ones come up. And it's okay to have like new goals come up after, you know, your old ones are completed, but like, bro, celebrate your wins. Like, you're just going to keep chasing the dragon of like new stuff. Will I be happy if I check off these boxes? It's like, yeah, of course. But it's like, dude, fucking celebrate it.
Yeah. And also you checked off boxes that you had in the past, and where are you now?
Oh, dude, like, dude, it's insane. Like it's, if the person, the 50 or how long ago did I start? The 16-year-old me. And if the kid in high school knew that where I would be at now, like, where I was able to go with a camera, he'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's so crazy. Like you stuck with it. So like, yeah, going back to after doing that, like having the first signed contract with the company and like doing deliverables, like, oh shit, I can make this happen. Right.
Right.
And then during that time I started, it was my first travel working with a client that wanted vlogs. So I actually started working with this dude named Davey Hamilton Jr., his local, his dad, I believe they owned Meridian Speedway for a little bit. Okay. His grandpa, they still race sprint cars out there.
Okay.
So I started traveling with him. He raced winged sprint cars and then stadium super trucks. And he lived out in Indy. His dad's like this famous Indy car driver. Went out to Indianapolis, like shot vlogs. This was my first time like traveling to work with someone, documenting their life because they're a race car driver.
Right.
And I was just like, yo, this is sick. Like, just turned 21. I get to travel the world, like the world as in like the US.
Right.
This whole experience was very short lived. And I'm glad that was, I'm glad I did it, but I'm glad I got fired.
Right.
Because there was a hell of events that happened right after I left. And I was like, okay, cool. Glad I don't work for you anymore. Yeah. But also cool that we got to do those experiences together. But yeah, we had Indy, we had Boise, we had Vegas. We were doing all these like race car events. He did like the Las Vegas, like it was the super national like go-karting. So like, okay, bro, this was like my first event that I saw different countries coming together, and it was called the Super Nats. And hopefully I said that right, but they hold it up in Vegas where it's like all these F1 drivers, kids are racing go-karts, like shifter carts. And I didn't realize like how big go-karting was until like I was there. And it's like, bro, they're pulling up with semis that just have like 45 carts, just like 2 levels of carts, and they have a full race team. And they're all from Europe. They're all just smoking cigs in the pit, like yelling at their kids for not placing top 3, And these kids are just like, 18 years old and down to 12. I don't know how young it got, like what the driving range was, but dude, it was crazy. That was just like, oh shit, like this is racing. And yeah, so after that left him, and then good old, I think COVID hit. Okay. I think that's around that.
Yeah, it must have been right around that time, 2019, 2020.
2019. But before COVID hit though, I will say this was like the start of like my music industry era, right?
Yeah.
I started shooting shows locally for free. at the knit. I think I shot like Subtronics for free, and then I shot Sullivan King for free.
And is this another one of those things where you're just like picking out something that you like doing and just like doing it for fun?
Yeah, it was like, I shot weddings, I shot cars. I was doing, I think at the time, during that time frame, I was doing work with Bogus Basin. I formed a relationship with them. And then I was working with a real estate agent called Blake Haggett.
Okay.
Shout out Blake, love Blake. He introduced me to introduced me to these other clients that he was working with. So like Boise Juice Company, we were doing videos with them, and then Axiom, and then doing real estate stuff. So that was like,
so you've got it. So you're like, you've got your hands on a lot of different fields, and you're just like doing anything,
doing like stuff for them to like be relevant on social media.
Right.
So I'm working for a real estate agent, but also doing these videos for all these companies because he knows the people there. Yeah. So like, it was kind of like a helping hand to like work with these companies.
So what happens after the knit? After you do these couple videos?
So after the knit, I actually DM'd Sullivan King on Instagram. I was like, "Hey, I'm local. Like, can I shoot your show?" And he's like, "Yeah, hell yeah, come through." So this is actually like a really important night that like is why I'm here today, and it's kind of crazy because like if I never went there, I don't think I would be here and like all the cool shit that I got to do. So I shot Sullivan King. And Kai Wachi was in the green room, and they're really good friends. And I think after the show, after I shot Sullivan King's set, I went to the green room and like hung out with him. Showed Sullivan King a couple photos or videos, and then Kai was sitting on the couch. And I was like, "Hey man, like I'm a local photographer, videographer, like in Boise. Like if you ever play a show here, wow, voice cracked. Ever play a show here?" Or just want to shoot product stuff, promo stuff for your brand, like I'd be so down. And he's like, hell yeah, man. Like, so, I think I followed him on Instagram and he followed me back. And then I think the following week later, he had a show at the knit and I shot the show, delivered deliverables. He goes, dude, like, I love what you did. He's like, there's a few things that we can tweak, but he's like, I think we can, work together on this. And then that's kind of like when COVID like started. It was like December of 2019 and then like the start of 2020. So like going into it, like you had the first couple months of 2020 and it wasn't, I don't think COVID.
It didn't hit till like March.
Yeah. Something like that. So I think I shot his show and then I think that was like the only. Oh, and I shot some like promo stuff in the beginning of 2020 for him.
Okay.
So like we started forming this relationship, and I had his number. We were texting, and I really didn't think anything of it, but I was hyped. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm starting to work in the music industry now. And during that time, I was still doing stuff like outside of music, working with Bogus Space and still doing videos for them.
Yeah.
I would. Whatever ideas that they would have, we would just come up with a way to shoot it and, be a quick bag. And I was like, this is fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, COVID hit and then that's when like the world shut down, right? The music industry was really not a music industry anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but it was all lived online. So I had to during COVID, I blew through all my savings. I was like, I don't want a 9-to-5. But I mean, there was like really no 9-to-5s, right?
But nothing's open, so there's really not a ton of video work going on.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, that's the first thing to go, right? Is video work. Like, businesses can still operate, but the first thing to go out the door is marketing.
Yeah,
you're done. Like, we don't need that. It's like, all right, cool, get it. So during then, I started working doing video and photo for a local rap company called Creative Raps. Great guys, still love them to this day, but I was able to work with them. I worked with them for about a year and a half, doing all their photo and videos of like cars being wrapped in the shop and like still working in the automotive industry and like still doing photo and video. So I was just keeping their Instagram alive, keeping it up to date and all that.
Right.
So, I did that for a little bit. And then when shows started, popping off again, like, people were like, oh yeah, like I think we can rave now. Like, I think it's safe. They did these raves called social distancing raves, or like, I think the very first one that we did was like in Utah and they had like these barricades out in like the field. They had a huge stage made, right? But like
Yeah.
people parked their cars. They had like their own little car stalls, and like were able to move around in like a 6x6 square, right? And like
Funny.
they couldn't like interact with each other because it was like they still had to wear masks. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
all right, cool. Like we're still able to like shoot music stuff, right? So that was like my still doing creative raps, but like throughout when stuff started to open again, I started getting hit up by Kai, being like, hey, can you come to these shows? And like the first couple of shows, I wasn't making anything. I think I said I just wanted to shoot for free. So like I drove down to Utah on my dime just to shoot a show, and it worked out.
Okay.
And so yeah, like after that, yeah, it was the social distancing raves, and then as people decided to be like, dude, we can't stay closed down for a lot like longer than it is. I think I did another project with him for online. It was like online EDC or something like that. Like Twitch was hosting it, and we did a virtual set. So like we set up a green screen in Kai's house, and I pretty much filmed him live mixing.
Okay.
Just so like Twitch could have it. Like it was a full hour set. It was like, you know, they had like this full like festival list, and Kai was on it, and so we made a video, and you know he was on at a certain time, and that was like another thing that we did during that.
So you're just like, so you're showing up for him in a time where it's like, video's kind of weird right now. There's not really a ton of people who are doing stuff, but like, let's get creative and let's make it work kind of thing.
Yeah. So we did that. I mean, like he didn't really know anyone local other than me. So I was like still bridging that friendship. Like we would hang out, we would, you know, get on Discord with each other, and like, they were still trying to keep the music industry somewhat alive, because obviously people love going to live shows, but like you can't do that when no one's allowed to be 5 feet away or
For
6
sure.
feet away from
Yeah,
each other.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, we did that for Twitch, for EDC on Twitch. I think it was EDC, but full green screen backdrop, filmed it for an hour. And then, that's one of the projects that we did during COVID. So then fast forward, everything kind of opens up again, and I get to do my first music festival with him. And it was like the first time that we like worked together outside of like I was being paid to go. It wasn't like on my dime anymore, right? I was like, oh shit, like this is cool.
Uh-huh.
I went down to Florida for Sunset Music Festival, and we met with Sullivan King. He lived down there. We stayed at his place, and this was the first festival that was open for, I think, in the United States, that like it wasn't social distancing. Like you were able to go without a mask.
Yep.
And like hang out, and it was like the world felt normal again. You know what I mean? But you still had to be on an airline like with a mask on, which is
right.
You know, it is what it is.
What it is.
But yeah, ever since then, it kind of just like from that point of like me shooting that festival, it snowballed into like just me doing everything with him.
Dang.
And then it snowballed into working with meeting different creatives in the music industry, that I was like, holy shit, there's so many. Like every DJ has their own personal photographer, videographer. There's like a team running this festival. Like, you know, they would have a group of 8 to 10 people covering the festival, and they would make a festival recap, and like they would deliver social pieces throughout the weekend. So like I'm learning all this. This is like all new to me.
Got you.
And it was really overwhelming, but I was like, dude, I'm traveling with a DJ that like I get paid to go shoot these shows. So like, that was really cool.
That's
and like
so
really
sick.
eye opening. I was like, hell yeah.
When you were at the Knit and you DM'd Sullivan King, you decided to go shoot that show, like probably just to have like create a project. It's super dope to be able to go to concert and all that kind of stuff. When you walked in the green room to show him and, you know, and show Kai all of the stuff that you had done, in the back of your head at that point, were you looking to just show them something cool, or were you kind of like, man, like this might turn into something cool if I show them that I can work well?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
It was like, because when you create something and you like for someone, you're like, look how cool this is, right?
For sure.
But then in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, cool. If I do a good job, maybe I can, you know, maybe it'll work out. So
Right.
definitely in the back of my mind of like, don't fuck up.
Hard maybe.
Yeah.
Does that have you been somebody where when you walk into one of those rooms, do you feel any nerves or any pressure or anything that like does that moment ever get to you, or are you able to like, I guess, perform under pressure in that way?
I honestly perform better under pressure. Like even with like deadlines and all that, like I think when there's something at risk or like it's either like a make or break a moment, I perform better than just being like, I guess it depends on the situation. Like if I'm walking into a room, like you said, and like I'm showing some content, like if they like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. Like it's up their alley. Like I'm not trying to force them to be like hire me. You know what I mean? But like if they fuck with it, they fuck with it.
Yeah.
I think I perform under like if there's a deadline or like stress or whatever, when there's like an edit due, and I'm like, this is a timeline. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I perform better under pressure.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that like walking into those moments is interesting because I don't really think that many people know how they're going to react until they get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Everybody likes to be like, oh, I'm never going to be starstruck or fanboy somebody or, freeze in an impactful moment.
Oh, yeah.
Until you get there. And it's like right up until that point, and like until that becomes a comfortable situation again. I think that it takes a lot of nerves to walk in and be like, well, hopefully I don't say some stupid shit or like freeze.
Dude, no, I mean, so at that point, yeah, there's people that I watch into a room and I'm like, I should not be here right now.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I don't belong here. But also like, I'll just mind my P's and Q's, and like, obviously I'm not trying to like be the pick me out of the room or anything. But like, there's been a couple times where I've been starstruck. I'm like, holy shit, I get to like be in this room with this person. That's super cool. Like, I don't know what to say, so I'm just gonna sit here because the artist that I would be working with like knows them. You know what I mean? Like introduce. Like I wouldn't be like super fanboy. I don't think I've ever fanboyed over anyone. I think there's only one time I did. Yeah.
They know what happened.
I was like,
maybe we don't need to recap.
I was like, yeah. Hey, what's up? Can I get a photo? But yeah, no, I don't think there's ever been like, I don't think I've ever been stressed in a room like where an opportunity presents itself. Like I'll take it if opportunity presents itself and there's like work involved, like I'll take it. And like, I'm not like shy of it. I'll just like, if it happens, it happens. It doesn't, it doesn't.
I think honestly, a lot of times asking for a seat at the table is one of the things that like really sets creatives apart from who makes it, quote unquote makes it, and who doesn't.
Right.
And I think part of the reason for that is because there are a lot of people that've got like ridiculous skill sets.
Oh yeah.
Like some of the best photographers, some of the best videographers, and like, oh, it's just my little side hobby and I'm an accountant and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like those people are just as good as some of the people who are like full career. They just don't ask for a seat at the table. Like they don't walk into that green room and say like, hey, I shot this show for free. Do you like this stuff? Great to meet you. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious for you, like, what have you noticed over the course of your story? What have been some of the moments where like you asked for a seat at the table and it turned into something cool?
I believe when I asked for my seat at the table, it would have been like, so I started working with all these other artists, working with Kai, snowballed effect into meeting so many different artists. And I'm really thankful for that because not only was I able to meet those people, but like I'm friends with them because I was able just to be myself. I wasn't like some fake person that being like, I don't need to put on a mask or like a different personality for them. They like me, I think, because I'm just myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I feel like I'm really easy to get along with.
Right.
But the time I asked was like, hey, listen, like I've done all this, like give me an opportunity to like to show what I can do, was when it was probably like a year or two into the music industry. And how I was talking about the festival media teams, like I reached out to Excision's festival media team because I like started branching friendships with all of them. And like I'd be like, it'd be really cool to cover a festival. Like they would have like, their shot list, or like it's either you're on after movie duty or like you're doing edits, or you're shooting and editing. Sometimes people are just a shooter, like they would just be shooting content for the after movie. Or what I usually get hired to do is I'll shoot and edit. So like I'll go do a piece on an artist doing a set and have to turn that edit over within 2 hours after, or an hour after that set shot, like on site.
Wow.
So like, well, we're doing those festivals, but it was Excision's team. It was like, hey, I would really love to like work with you guys. And it started out working with the artist himself, and then it went to the media teams because like I wanted to work in like a collective. Like I wanted to work in an environment like full of creatives and like branch off each other. You know what I mean? Like it's fun sitting inside of a hot little metal pod on a festival site, and there's like 15, 20 of you guys, and it's like you guys are all like minded, and like those are really fun. So I'm glad I shot my shot when I was able to do that, because you know they're like, hell yeah, like come shoot this festival. You know, it'll be here 2 to 3 days or 2 to 4 days, depending on what it is, and like here's your job role.
Gotcha.
And like, you know, hopefully it works out, and you know it did. And ever since then, like anytime they ever have festivals and media teams, like I'm usually like the person of mine, if I'm able to do it, or if I'm free and not traveling for like other stuff, like I'm usually there like shooting. So I shot my shot. Yeah. And the same thing with Kai though. I shot my shot. I was like, hey man, local, you know, easy for you, right? Like we can create on a local level. You're not spending money to have someone fly out and all this. So it's like, if it works, it works. So quote unquote, like I shot my shot with Sullivan King and shot my shot with Kai Wachi, that branched into meeting everyone in the, like, and when I say that everyone in the music industry, it's like the dubstep and like, and it's such a niche community, but like for sure, still in the music industry. You know what I mean?
One of the more creative, like subsets of the music industry too, I'd say, especially when it comes to video and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I think that's really cool though, because it's, I think that just like the people who don't ask for a seat at the table, I think that what's baked into that is probably some level of imposter syndrome.
Oh, dude, you have no idea.
Yeah. So tell me how you deal with that and like how that's evolved for you over the course of your career.
Well, I still have imposter syndrome. That's never gonna go away, dude. When I say like you're in like when you do these festival teams, it's like majority of the people that are hired for these festival teams are like really good at what they do. Like they're able to shoot, edit, and turn around super fast. They know what they're doing. When you're going to shoot something, they already know how the building blocks of like the project's gonna turn out. Because when you do all these festivals, you kind of already have kind of like this like guideline of like how you want to shoot it, what you're gonna, how you're gonna shoot it, what's gonna be the main focus, and like how you're gonna wrap it up using like your unique ways of editing, color grading, sound effects, all this. It's like,
so the picture's already painted. You're just like, I got to go grab these colors. I got to put this together.
Yeah.
And like we're rolling.
So when you do that, when I say like everyone's really good at what they do, like, dude, everyone's whipping out like the most creative shit in these little, when I mean like metal boxes, it's usually like those like shipping containers with the AC in it, right? That are on site. Yeah. We're all on like the little plastic desks, and like we'll go shoot, dump our car, and like edit. But there's so many people that are really good at like 3D. Honestly, 3D and rotoscoping and like After Effects, and like I'm the type of person who's like, I really like to tell a story, but with like match cuts and like good color grading and good like cinematic shots, right?
Yeah.
But like there's these people that are like really good at that, but also like they can take a boring ass shot and turn it into like this 3D masterpiece, and you're just like, bro, how did you do that in like 30 minutes? Like obviously they do it a lot, but it's like that's when you get imposter syndrome, right? And it's like I could do that, but do I have the time right now? Because, and that's always going to be the biggest thing is like, do I have time? Of course you have time if you make it a priority.
Right.
But it's like, you're doing all these festivals, and when am I going to go learn how to do all these Blender 3D animations and all this? But yeah, I would say a huge imposter syndrome of like the way other people kind of story tell and like shoot and edit and like sound design. It's like, you're always comparing your work to other creatives. Like that will never not be a thing. So I think, but then you get this weird, not this weird thing, but like you get the affirmations from others that are like, yo, dude, like that video is sick. Like, I loved how you did this. And it's like, oh, wait. So it's like a girlfriend with like your love languages. And so like, when they like cater to you, like, okay, maybe I'm like really kind of good at what I do. Maybe I'm decent. I'm average. But like in my mind, I'm like, I should not be here. I should not. Like, these people are so good. Like, why am I in the room full of these people? And for a long time, it was like that. But like, now it's a little less, but sometimes I'll, working with new people and like I see their work, I'm like, holy shit, like, am I just the personality hire? Like dead serious, bro. Like, I'm like, I think I'm just the personality hire here. Like, I don't think my work's any that good. So I don't know. Like, that's what goes through my mind sometimes. Of like,
got you. That's when it's really good to have a personality though, because like at least I know I'm good at that.
Yeah, at least I'm funny, guys. Right? Come on. Sure. Like, they'll be silent in the room, and I'm just like, I'll just blurt out the stupidest shit because everyone's like so focused, and like, I'm like, guys, we're here to have fun too, but also take it seriously. But
right.
I don't know.
That's so sick. So for the people listening that don't know your story, we were talking a little bit before this podcast, and you said you were on the road like 200 plus days last year. Yeah. And so up to the point where you've kind of like developed a story at this point, you like took a couple chances in the music industry. You'd been doing a lot of stuff in like a bunch of different categories. And then now you're in a spot where like you've been for the last year, 2 years, just like on the road almost constantly doing all this stuff. So talk to me a little bit about like, what's it like being like full time where you go from having a sticky note on your computer that says like, I hope I get to travel someday,
Right.
to like 200 plus days on the road and like just being fully in it.
So I think it goes back to the whole step back and smell the roses type thing. Like when I did have that sticky note and like I was able to travel for I think 2023 and 2024. 2024 was by far the busiest year of my life.
Yeah.
Maybe 2023 was too. It was one of those years was really busy, and I can't really like differ from the both because I was just gone. But yeah, it was like a step back, smell the roses type situation where being gone for that long, super fun. Grateful that I'm able to do that, and that's what I wanted. Right, that's what I wrote down years ago.
Yeah,
and sometimes it can just get super exhausting, no matter what you love and what you do and like how much you love it. Sometimes you're just gonna get that burnout. Super grateful though that like I was able to do these bus tours. So, for instance, like a bus tour can be anywhere from like a month to 3 months. In the year of 2024, I did 2 bus tours, one with Kai Wachi in the beginning of the year. That was 2.5 months from, I want to say, I think end of February to May, something like that. And then when you get off, you do all these festivals and all these one-off shows. And like Kai wasn't the only person I was working with like at the time. Like I was doing stuff with Excision. Oh, before Kai's tour, I was on like a month tour with Excision from the start of New Year's to where I'm at, or like New Year's to his tour. So like I was just constantly gone.
right.
Excision is also like the biggest dubstep art. Do you know who Excision?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That was another like fangirl moment that was like Jeff's dude. If I don't think Jeff will watch this, but if he does, like
Yeah.
I've told him before that I listened to his mix in like 2011. And now that I'm working like internal with his team and like shooting his biggest festivals that he has, like Bass Canyon and Lost Lands, and like going on tour with him, and like he's just a homie, like playing Warzone with him. Like
Yeah.
it was like, dude, my 13-year-old self would be like, I would always listen to his music while I would go ski and snowboard.
Right.
And that New Year's, going back to like, I did that month tour with him and then going on another bus tour with Kai. That New Year's, I was skiing with him. He invited me up to go skiing before the show. And like, it was just like him and close family. I'm like, yo, Jeff, like, don't know if you know this, but like, I was listening to your mixes on, the chairlift when I was like 13 years old.
So
and
sick.
now I'm sitting next to you. So it was like, he just started laughing and like, he was like, hell yeah, man. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Probably sounds so stupid right now.
Stop being weird, dude.
Yeah, stop being weird, man. No, he's super cool. So that was the starstruck moment. But going back from traveling from the beginning of the year, going to a bus tour, and then in the middle of the year doing like all these one-off shows, and then going to do stuff with other artists that are doing all these other festivals. So you're just gone weekend after weekend. You leave on a Thursday, come back on a Monday, or leave on a Friday, come back on a Sunday. It's like whatever, and then you're home for like 2 days, and then you go do it again. And it's really, really fun. But when you're surrounded by so many people all the time, you start to value your alone time so much more. Like I would say, like I enjoyed being alone when I would come home from like these weekend tours or like weekend events, just because you never have alone time unless you're like in a hotel room alone.
Right.
And you'll be like, cool, like no one's around me for like 45 minutes and then I got to go work again. So it's like, even when you're on the road, like you're working 24/7, you sleep and like all that, whatever. Then you got to prioritize like your mental health, like still go to the gym, eat healthy on the road. And that's hard.
For sure.
So yeah, it's like, I would say 250 days plus is when I was gone, or how many days I was gone in like 2023, 2024.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. But and it also makes me like realize too, like I was gone a lot, but I also like missed a lot here. Like missed like, some of my family's birthdays and like wasn't able to be there. Like when I come home, I try to value family time. I try to get my mom to come out here. She lives out in Star. Like I'll fly out. Or I'll fly out to Star. I'll drive out to Star. I should fly out to Star. Dude. It'll probably be a lot
Seriously,
quicker.
take the helicopter over.
Yeah, it'll be a lot quicker than like the rush hour traffic.
Right.
But go see them, see my brothers, like value that time, see friends that I haven't seen in a while, and like you really start to like see who's really in your inner circle and like really like fucks with you while you're, everyone's doing their own thing. They're trying to get through life and all that, but like being gone, it makes you realize like how many people will still reach out to you that are really your true friends. And like don't regret anything, like have anything against anyone, but like, everyone's going through their life, and like maybe I could have done a better job of like reaching out to people while I was gone, but like, who your like real friends are at the end of the day, and
absolutely
who the real ones are. And they check up on you like, hey, mentally, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's like when I get back to town, would love to see you. Let's go grab a bite to eat. Like I started to value those moments a lot more than like, I'm only able to see you for like an hour or two while I'm home. Like, I'm choosing to see you. Like you should feel valued, not like you should feel valued, but like that's valuable time that like,
yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah,
that's been tricky for me, honestly, too, because growing up here and then living somewhere else, a lot of the times when I come back home, it's like 5 to 10 days or so. And so I have to be like very selective about the people that I choose to spend my time around. And it's not, again, anything personal to the people that you don't decide to spend around. But again, it's like that. This value is like, I also could have been spending this getting coffee with my mom or hanging out with my brother or doing whatever else. So, Chris Williamson's got a really like fascinating lens on when you take the jump from like doing what you're doing now to like the thing that you want to be doing. He calls it the lonely chapter. And the way he describes it is like when you're doing like your normal thing, right? So like when you're working with Sam, when you're kind of doing stuff around Boise and you're with your family all the time and all that kind of stuff, it's like things are kind of pretty normal. You probably still have some friends from high school, some people you met along the way. But then when you make that jump and you start doing like the stuff that you really want to be doing, right? So you start to go on your first couple tours and you're gone more and this and that. The lonely chapter is when some of the friends that you had in the past are starting to like fall off a little bit. You're not talking as much. They might start to have that like, oh, you've changed or this, that, the other thing.
Right.
But you also haven't been doing the new thing long enough where you've got all of the new creative friends and all of those sorts of people where you start to become part of that community. And you're kind of like caught in that weird middle zone where it's like, fuck, I don't feel like I've got the support from my friends that I used to.
Right.
But these guys who I like would really love to be friends with also aren't really like close enough where they're going to start hitting me up yet. So you kind of just have to have that trust that like, if I just keep like pounding away at this thing, it's going to work.
That's kind of how it was for a little bit. Like, I think I'm 4 years into the music industry. I think 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Could be. I think it's 4. But yeah, you start to lose those friends that you had back home. And like, you'll still have like your really good friends that like will still reach out and like, those friends that like you can text or call at any time and it's like pick right back up where you guys left off. Like those are true friends. Yeah. And I have a handful of those people and I'm really grateful for them. But also like the friends in your new area, your new community of that you surround yourself in all the time. Like I'm really grateful that I was able to make those types of friends. It took a while, but like, dude, I had friends that I met in this industry just fly out a couple weeks ago for the show and they just stayed at my house. And like those people that I value time, like I'll call and check up on. It's like, dude, they literally flew out to see me.
Right.
Because like we all enjoy being around each other, and majority of the time like we only see each other if we're working on like on a weekend, so like we never get to like have that weekend where it's not a work environment. Right. So I'm really grateful like I have those friends that are just like, oh yeah, you guys are real friends, like you're my best friends, like you're inviting me to your weddings, like we are friends. Yeah. So it's kind of you lose a little bit of like I think the nostalgic old friends that you went through life with, right? But then you're also meeting these new people over here that you're still doing life with, and it's like it's a whole new chapter of friends, and like they're sticking with you, and it's like you can always make best friends, but like or always make friends, but like it's hard to make those best friends.
Yeah, you can't make a new old friend.
Right. Exactly.
What advice would you have for somebody who is a creative that's in that lonely chapter?
I think my advice is, and I mean I feel like I still do this, is like I will always try to reach out to people and like, maybe you're not like super close with someone in your creative, you're in that lonely chapter of like, you left these people. Now you're surrounded by these people, but you're not good friends. Like, I would say like, try to just hype them up, like comment on their stuff, and then you start to you get the work friendship out of the way. It's like, yo, like I'm like a real friend. Like, hey, if you ever need anything, like check in with me. Like I'm here for you because like we're in the same realm of like same industry. I would just be like, just be yourself and just reach out. Like it may feel weird at first, but like that's how you're gonna make friends, is just being your authentic self and just like reaching out on like you don't
Like on a human level.
like on a human level. I'm not reaching out to you because I want something from you. It's like I genuinely like, you're a good person. You've done, this for me. And it's like, I can see a friendship with you. And that's kind of what I did. I was like, oh yeah, like you're not just someone I see on the weekends. Like you gave me good advice and all that. And it kind of just like snowballed effect. And I feel like, so just, I don't know, just like be yourself and hopefully be homies with I don't know. I don't know how to, I don't know if I can give like good advice on it. Just be yourself, I guess, and just like reach out to those people. Just be human. You don't need to like, oh, this amount of followers, he's like too good to talk to me. It's like, everyone's human, bro. Like, like don't let a number like tell you they can't be friends, or like, I don't know. I feel like there's this weird social media thing of like, why would they be friends with me when they have this like this social status? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think that's one of the things that I get really fascinated by, especially in the entertainment industry, whether it's like music or whatever, is I think that there's some level of misunderstanding where it's like, okay, this person has 50,000 followers, so I couldn't be friends with them, or this person's got 500,000 or 1 million or whatever. And you start to like put somebody on this pedestal because of their social media following. Right. I'm curious for you though, like as you've navigated that world, being somebody who's like, a couple thousand followers, as you like start to get into the game and all this stuff, and you're working with people who like their edits might be getting like hundreds of thousands of views a piece. What advice would you have for somebody like coming into that world now that you've seen the other side of it?
The biggest thing is it's going to go back to just be your authentic self and like be yourself and make those connections. Like go up and introduce yourself. It's like, if they're a good person, they're not going to like blow you off because they think that their followers are like, I'm not going to talk to you. It's like, dude, I'll talk to anyone. There's so many people that I meet at festivals that are just like, yo, dude, I've been following your work for a long time. And I'm like, whoa, really? Like, that's kind of cool. And it's like, they like compliment my work, but it's like, they were comfortable enough to approach me. And like, I feel like I'm a pretty approachable guy. Like, I'm not going to let your following dictate like how you treat other people. You know? I mean, just like be a good human, man. Like, I don't know. Like that's my advice, is just be your authentic self. Don't be a fake person in a room because you think it's cool. Like people are going to fuck with you because they like who you are. And there's a lot of fake people in the music industry. Like,
for sure.
I mean, in any industry there is, but it's like, you're going to find the best people by just being yourself. And it might not happen like right away, but there's so many friends that I've made by just being myself. And like, of course there's like people that like I've been in the same room and we're all like genuine and all that, but it's like, I wouldn't reach out to you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it just kind of just like depends on like who you're gravitated towards and like who gravitates towards you. And I feel like the energy that you put off is like, you're going to get some good, if you're a good person, you're going to get some good people in your life. You know what I mean? Like it's going to work out.
For sure.
Advice, just be yourself.
I was having a conversation with one of my friends on the way over here, and it like reignited a question that I've got almost like constantly, especially with like the media landscape that we're in right now. And I think that being around so many other creatives, it's probably a really cool way to take a bunch of inspiration from different people. And like, just like you said, there's some people who are good at 3D, some people who are good at all this different stuff. And like probably other people who have similar skill sets to you, and you want to like take pieces of inspiration from them. I think that what's different now about social media, especially once TikTok started popping off, is like, I think that social media really rewards like copycat now. And there's like all these social media trends are like, oh, okay, all these people are popping off when they do this dance or when they use this audio or when they do this trend. So I'm just going to do that. And then in 2 weeks, when there's a new one, I'm going to try and do that and go viral and blah, 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 blah. I'm curious for you though, like where does that line exist between inspiration and like replication or like biting off of somebody's style?
So I feel like there's a lot of people that I've been inspired through the music industry, like how they edit and how they color grade. Shout out you want me to use their at names or like
sure, dude,
name? Yeah.
whatever.
Shout out David Veltri. His color grading and just how he edits stuff is insane. Oh my God, there's there's just a list of names. Okay, the other one would be Seven Black Blades, which is Schaefer, one of my really good friends. How we met was really funny because like we were both like, he's like a quiet person, and I wouldn't say like I'm a quiet person, but like also if everyone in the room, if you put us two in the room when we like first met each other, we're just like, hey man, like, so you do video? And he's like, yeah. You do video? I was like, yeah. He's like, hell yeah. And I was like, we should be friends. It was kind of like, so I've been following you for a while. He goes, yeah, I followed you too. I was like, so like, yo, we want to be friends. I think that's kind of how it went in my mind. Yeah. But yeah, he's really good at art, and like I draw a lot of inspiration from him. And there's just a handful of people, but those are the first two that are really like creatively like stood out when I first got into the music industry. But like the replication thing of like I take stuff from them, like how they hard cut, how they color grade, sound design, how they do certain effects. I'm like, oh yeah, like that shit's really cool. Replicating stuff though, like on TikTok, is as like a creative, it's like do you want to do the trend? No. But is it gonna make your work like maybe pop out? It's like you gotta bite the bullet sometimes. I don't really like to do trends. If it's a trend that I'm like, okay, cool, this can work with like the type of stuff that like I like to shoot. Like if it's a car trend or like something that I can use that's like an artsy trend. Like there was a trend going around that was like, oh yeah, shoot this, but an anamorphic. And like it started turning all the, everyone's making their edits horizontal now. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a trend I can get behind. Like those types of trends are sick, but like I'm never going to make, unless the song is cool, but I'm never going to be like, I'm going to make this real to like, personally, for my personal, like how I shoot stuff. I just made like a video yesterday or 2 days ago of me. Like, I know it's not, it was like me driving my car, taking it around Boise, just getting some like artsy shots. And it wasn't to like trending audio or anything, but it was just like, I know it's not trending, but like it's artsy, you know what I mean? Right. People are like, I would rather have a good video than like some other trend.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm not going to hate on, there's some other trends that I'm like, okay, cool. I wish I thought about that.
For sure.
But I don't know. I feel like everyone bites off each other. Now like copying them, I feel like it's just like a form of like, you'd be flattered. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on what type of person you are. You can either take it as like you're biting off my style, or like, oh no, like this person said that you're a huge inspiration. And it's like, okay, cool. Like you're giving credit where credit's due.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. With I'm a huge fan of the stuff that you do with like the car stuff that you do. Mm-hmm. Dude, I don't I think it was when you were on tour. Those like little goofy iPhone videos where you'd like go and like you guys were in like a high-rise hotel or something like that, and you'd go like post up by the window and be looking at shit. Dude, so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But I like stuff like that where it's like it's art just for the sake of art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love that shit.
Dude,
but
thank
like
you.
How important is that when you're 250 plus days on the road, when you're like in the shit of it and you're still finding time to like have these like little pop out creative moments? Mm-hmm. How important is that so you can like stay in the game and like kind of avoid burnout?
That's what I do that a lot. And that's how I get by the burnout. I'm like, okay, I don't want to create this. Like I'm creating the same thing. I got to spice it up, but also like I want to make some funny stuff. It's like my stories are like my micro vlogs.
Yeah.
Like I just create them because they're just like, they're funny. I don't care about the views. I don't care about anything. It's just me being myself. Like how I portray myself on my story, I feel like is how I am in person.
Right.
To a degree. And yeah, like the whole like we'll go to a hotel and I'm like, Las Vegas has 24 hours to respond, or I'm gonna take over the city or something like that. Like it's just doing something that's out of the ordinary that you'd see. It's like, oh yeah, that's funny. Like I could vlog, but like I don't want to, I don't know. It's like my way of still being creative and like micro vlogging my adventures, because there's a lot of people that like, wish that they could travel and they strive to travel for work. And I feel like if I can just kind of make like a small story on the road of like being dumb and myself, like, I don't know. I think that's how I get out of creative rep. It's like, I'll create a bunch of like, I'll make a bunch of dumb iPhone videos and people are like, dude, this is a reel worthy. I'm like, nah, this is going to live on my story. Like they're just things I just not going to main post, which is I should honestly, but that's how I get out of creative burnout. So just making like dumb iPhone stuff. Like you need to. I don't know. As a creative, I don't feel like everyone should or whatever, but I do.
You've also got some like side creative pursuits, whether it's like going out and shooting or drifting or like, you know, like you being involved in the car scene and stuff like that. One of the things that I get fascinated by is like when somebody is entirely inside of their creative pursuit, whether they're, you know, a videographer, a writer, a musician, whatever. So many of the most creative people that I know also have side pursuits that they've gone like balls deep inside of. They're like so in it,
dude. Yeah.
And it seems like you're that way with like a handful of other things. So like, what do you think like the purpose and like the thing is? What's like the purpose of having stuff outside of your main thing that you're like all the way into as well?
Dude, I think it helps with creativity. Doing the same things every single day can be so monotonous and draining. And like, yeah, I can sit here, and that's what goes to like me sitting and editing the same thing over and over. If I'm editing something slightly different than creating music stuff, because that's what I create majority of the time, right?
Right.
If I can go create me making coffee or like me starting my car or something like that, that helps my creativity and not burn out. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be like always filming that, but like having outside hobbies that like don't have anything to do with filming, it helps my creativeness. Like I like being outside. I like being outdoors. I grew up riding dirt bikes, you know, boating, being in the lake, being adventurous, like drifting is, I would, it's such a rabbit hole, dude, but like, it's so fun. Like I shot a lot of drift events and I'm like, you know what? Like building a drift car would be cool, you know? So here I am 5 years later. The car is sick, but like still building it. You know, it's always going to be a thing of like building a race car, drift car. There's always going to be things happening, new problems it's never going to be perfect because you're like, all right, what's the next thing I can do to this thing? You know, it's a sick habit of a money pit.
Right.
Should have bought a house. Like biking, shooting, like that's just like, my grandpa would always take me shooting when I was younger. So I have always said I am now a child that has adult money and it was able to do things that I wish my younger self was able to afford. And now that I'm able to like work my ass off, I'm like, cool, I can do all these hobbies now and like actually enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like that's why I have so many other hobbies. It's like music or camera work and all that, like is my main source. And like the music stuff is right now too, but like shooting car stuff and shooting gun stuff and like that's like my hobby. It lets me be creative in different aspects of like not shooting the same thing.
It's like a creative deep breath a little bit.
Exactly. Like just shooting different genres of stuff. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like if I do a good job of this, maybe someone will notice in that industry and they'll ask me to shoot stuff for their company. Or like, you know, it worked out with car stuff because now I shoot car stuff or I shoot music industry and also car stuff. So Grid Life reached out and was like, hey, we're an event that puts on both.
You're kind of our guy here.
You're kind of like, you know, like unfortunately, like I know a good amount of the people that they book on their lineup. So I'm like able to help and like introduce the artists that have never done car stuff before that I work. Like I see them all the time at festivals and now I get to introduce them to like drift cars. And like I'll help them like get into drift cars and all that, and we'll set them up and like put GoPros in the car, and they'll be like, "I've never been in a drift car before," and now they're doing a corner at like 120, just full e-brake. Like it's so sick.
Nice.
So it's like stuff like that was able to like let me, you know, doing car stuff and music stuff was allowed me to film something that was like, and I'm getting paid for it. So it's
right.
Oh, cool, worked out. You know,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have hobbies outside of what started as a hobby, and I think shooting camera, like filming, it should never feel like a job. And sometimes it does, but I always try to find a way to make it feel like a hobby again of why I picked up a camera. And that's why I go shoot other stupid shit that will never get to see the light of day, but it just like lets my brain be creative, you know?
Interesting. Do you, it's so cool to me because it seems like just the longevity of what you've done is like, it's so impressive because for, 10 plus years, it's not like you picked up a camera day one and it was like, hey, if you just stay with this, 10 years from now, you're going to be on tour for a couple hundred days a year. Yeah. You're going to be able to do all of like the best drift events. You're going to be able to do all of this stuff. Like you get to choose essentially.
I'm just glad I just never gave up.
Yeah. And one of the things that's interesting for me and like, quite frankly, it's very relevant for me when it comes to this podcast right now is like, I think that there's certain pursuits where there's never a guaranteed moment where it's like, hey, if you do this for 8 years, then you're going to make it.
Right.
If you set out to be a doctor, a lawyer, like any of these careers, you kind of look at it and it's like, okay, you've got 4 years of undergrad and then 4 years of postgrad, and then you've got another 4 years of doctorate school. And then 12 years in, you get to do the thing. Here's your reward.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that like some of the creative pursuits, like there was nobody telling you that X amount of years in, you were going to walk into a green room and then some dominoes were going to fall that were just going to like make it happen. And so, you know, I'm curious for you, if you're like, what was going through your head throughout the years that allowed you to just like keep knocking at that door and not try to take a job as a chef or not try to take a job in the trades or something like that and just like stick to it?
I feel like my whole thing is I never gave up because it was like, this is it. Like, I have to make this work. I didn't go to school. I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't really want to go to a trade school. Like, still filming was what I wanted to do, whether it would be for a company, if I was doing social media for them or whatever. It's like, there's so many times I wanted to give up too in like the beginning. And like, I'm like, especially during COVID, I'm like, is this really what I want to do still? Like, is this camera stuff going to work out in the end? And like, I had those self-doubts, and I'm just glad that like I just kept going because, in my mind, I was like, if this isn't gonna work, what is? You know what I mean? Like, there was no like, if you work X amount of years, you get to go do this. It was just like, I feel like it's the fun of the game of like, you improve your craft and like you get to like next level and different tiers of working with people, working with companies. Like, you're always learning. But I don't know, I just enjoyed the process of it, honestly. Like, whatever I shot, whatever I was able to step into a room and do and like work with other people, like that's the fun part. It's like, cool, I got like a retaining client for like 6 months or whatever, I'm working for so-and-so, but it's like, this is fun. Like, what else can I do? There's not always like, what else is going to end? Like, when is this going to end? But also, what else can I shoot with the camera? Like, can I get into weddings? Can I get into all this? Like, I just enjoy being creative and like telling a story and showing it to people. And I feel like right now I'm trying to still figure that out. I feel like I've kind of done a good job, but like as a creative, you're like, what can I do more? Like, what's the next step? So I feel like I was just very fortunate enough to like have those dominoes keep that snowball domino effect of like, it just, one thing happened after another of just like staying consistent and not giving up. And if I gave up, I probably wouldn't have been here. Like if I gave it before 2019, I wouldn't have done half of the cool stuff I've done. I just like, there was a lot of doubt too. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, I need to go do something else. Like, but everyone was like, dude, you're good at what you do. Like, just keep going, even if you had to go pick up an extra job just to like keep fulfilling your hobby. Because at this time it was still like a hobby. Like, I enjoy working with the camera. And then at some point it just turned into like, okay, full-time job.
Gotcha.
That's it. But yeah, it was just, don't give up.
That's so cool, dude. Yeah, I think it's really important to hear too, because it's so easy to, when you're doing something for your passion and hoping that it turns into a career. Sometimes it's like, it can be a very like love-hate relationship at times, because it's like, I love this thing that I'm doing. However, I'm starting to hate the fact that it's like, it's not giving me back what I'm putting into it, or it's not blah, blah, blah. So
you might not get it at the time, but I feel like at that moment, but over time, I feel like all that hard work you put in, it will definitely pay off, like with all the connections that you get or whoever you're working with.
Yeah. And you said something too. You said that like continuing in those moments, just like continue to just do it because you love the story, do it because you love being creative, and like seeing how far that you can go for a skill set. That to me, I think is so important, because if you keep doing the same thing and you never get better, it doesn't seem like you're increasing your odds at all of like ever making it.
Right.
However, if what you're focused on is like continuing to like hone in your craft and get good and do all that stuff, I think at some point it's like, if you become one of the best in your industry at whatever you're doing, inevitably somebody's going to find that valuable.
Yeah. Like, dude, there has to be someone like it's
For sure.
It's going to work out. It might not just be like a light that you're going to see automatically. It's just like, you're going to keep doing your thing and it will happen. It like, you just got to trust yourself and trust quote unquote, trust the process. You know what I mean? Like, trust that creative process. And, it will work out. And I'm still figuring it out, man. I don't have it all figured out yet.
For sure.
But like, I feel so on the outside, it might seem like it, but like, I mean, as a creative, like a full-time creative, like everyone struggles of like, what's next?
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna like light that spark again for me? So
Interesting. I've got two videos in particular that have like made an impact on me that you've put out that I want to ask you about as a basic Brando fan. The first one, and we'll close the segment, but the first one is, dude, the video that you posted when you were in Japan and you got to get, bro, you've got it like line out. I don't want to steal any of the thunder. So like line out that entire shot for me and like why it meant so much to you.
are you talking about the RX set? Dude, okay. This is the craziest. Like when people ask me like, yo, what's their highlight of Japan? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Every day I felt some new emotion. I was like, Japan was just a roller coaster of happiness, sadness, grateful, like it's crazy. But that particular shot was like, I think that whole day leading up to it was just like the best day of Japan. And like, honestly, just how organic everything felt. So that day, it was me, my two brothers, Aiden and Trevor, my buddy Chance, that also does stuff in the music industry with me. And I was like, dude, you work your ass off. Like, come take a vacation. And he goes, all right. Like, he booked a flight like the next day, or not the next day. The next day, I bought my flights for my brothers. And then my buddy Miles and Shelly, his wife, they're like, we were planning on going to Japan. I was like, cool, buy your tickets. So I bought them in the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And I was just like, hey, if you're going, you're going. If not, like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So ended up being a great group of people. We did a lot. We went to Shibuya Sky that day. Shibuya Sky is like their tallest building in Japan. We got to play with like otters. Like we went to drift carts and like did all like the iconic stuff. Like went and saw Godzilla looking over Shinjuku. But the iconic moment was the crossing, the Shibuya crossing. And it was funny too, because I was like, dude, I just want a video of me just like sprinting across before everyone gets in the middle, right? That was the goal.
Yeah.
So the first couple times I did it, like someone was faster than me or whatever. And I had my brother film it. And there was one time where I went to sprint, I smacked my like nuts on a stone pillar, like across, and I hit there, and you can just see me go, oh, like I'm like, damn, dude, like this sucks. I just like full sprinted into a pillar.
And Shibuya Crossing is like the most iconic crossing in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most iconic. So if you've seen Tokyo Drift, you know that crossing is where Han and Sean are drifting through, and it's the RX-7. And you got the red Evo drifting, and then you got DK chasing them in the 350Z. So like that's the iconic chase scene of like DK's trying to kill Han. And before we even started recording, which I wish that we recorded it. And before I gave my brother the camera to like, hey, run across the street with me, like follow me. He's like, okay. Before we started recording, I was like, dude, how cool would it be if we saw the RX-7 drift through here? Like, it's so iconic. And then he started recording. And then, like, I was, like, messing with my settings on my, like, Fujifilm. And then my brother goes, oh, dude, it's Han's RX-7. Like, we look up, and I'm like, no fucking way. And it was, like, the only car, like, just passing through. And, like, our reaction was just so genuine because we were talking about Fast and the Furious and, like, being in the car industry. It's, like, that movie was really cool to watch. And, like, that whole scene was sick. And, like, getting it in slow motion, like, it was just, like, so sick and iconic. That, like, little hop that I did was, like, that little Mario jump. Dude, I was just, like, stacked. I was like, I don't know what to do with all this energy, bro. Like, I saw that car. Like, I'm hyped. We just ran across it. Like,
and you had your Fuji out, too.
Yeah. Dude, I shit you not. Like, when my brother goes, Han's RX-7, I switched to settings real quick and then caught it going across. Like, got it in perfect. Like, I'll have to show you the photo.
Were you pulling manual focus, too?
No, I just sprayed and prayed. I was like, please, for the love of God, get it. But like, so like I went back to the Airbnb, made that video, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm just going to post it. And then it just went viral. And I'm just like, but instead of it going viral, whether it be a viral video or not, like it was just a super iconic moment I got to share with like my brother and friends that were just like, we all love cars and we know exactly that car that went and drifted through Shibuya. And was like, dude, this is sick. I'm like, we can go home. Like,
yeah,
let's
I'm
go.
literally getting goosebumps listening to this shit,
like,
bro. That's crazy.
We were like, let's go home. Let's go grab a burger and beer and then just go home. Like, it was the coolest, like the hype. The video, like at the end of it, where you see me like grab the camera and just shake, I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, hell yeah, like it was so cool. And then it just popped off and went viral. And then I obviously with like a viral video, you're gonna get some like hate comments, and some of the comments are like, "We see that car every day," blah blah. It's like, but that's not the point. The point was like we were talking about it before we even knew that it was coming through, and like we got to see it because like growing up, we watched all the Fast and Furious movies, and that moment just it was so weird. It just meant a lot, and it was just like just driving through, and we're just like, bro, what? Like, how does that even happen? When we were like, it would be so cool to see that car drift through here, and then it just nonchalant comes up the street, and then we're just like, no fucking way, dude. That was like the highlight. I mean, there's so many other highlights, but like that was the highlight of Japan for me right there.
So sick. And honestly, the thing that I love about it too is like knowing your story and the fact that you were like rolling around with the Hero 3 and a Nikon, like capturing all those moments. Like what a full circle moment too for you to have like done everything that you've done, and then it's like that's why you started too.
Yeah,
was to like document cool shit with your friends and your family, and it's like, bro, that's it.
Yeah, literally, that's like why I picked up a camera, was to document and make cool things to look back on and be like, we did that. Like there's so much Japan content that I'm trying to go through right now and edit that it's just like every time I open, I'm like I get goosebumps and I get emotional because I'm like, damn, like we really did that. Like it was a talk for so long that I was just like, let's make it happen. I was like, I'm tired of saying that I want to go. Something could happen next year to one of us and like not get to experience that. So it was like my first trip with my two brothers that we got to do. And like, dude, we were so emotional that trip. It was, Japan is the coolest place ever, bro.
A lot of
so
I
cool.
love you, bro moments going on.
Yeah, we're like sitting up at Shibuya Sky with a beer in our hand. We're like crying, looking at like the cityscape. We're just like, dude, we're here. Like, it's not just a talk. Like, we're here. It's so cool. Yeah, a lot of I love you, brother moments. So that was the coolest experience. But being able to share that like car experience with not just my brothers, but my friends that are into the car industry, like car scene, is so cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
dude. I think that you can. I think that that's probably like algorithm or not anything like that. I think that why people connect with that video is because it's like it feels like one of the rare moments where like everything lined up in one moment and you can feel it. Like there was nothing fabricated about it.
No.
And people fucking love those moments regardless of what it is, dude.
Dude, yeah, it was like so just genuine and like iconic, and it was just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, did that really just happen? Like,
I think when you do all the right shit, man, sometimes the universe like just gives you a little gold star. And it's like, enjoy this one, dude.
Yeah,
you did it.
It was literally like top 5 of my life right there. It was so cool.
That's so sick. Okay, the last thing that I've got a question for you on, and this was another video that made a big impact on me. You posted a 2024 recap at the end of last year, and I don't remember exactly what was in the caption, but I remember you saying something in it that was like, I remember looking at all of the other people that I admire and look up to and seeing their recaps and seeing like, and I don't remember exactly what it's called, like a director's cut or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot the recap. I'll have the look.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So anyways, though, it made such an impact on me because it was like you had posted it and you had so much cool stuff from like the different stuff that you'd done on tour and all these different things. And it was cool for me because I'm not somebody who's very good at like stopping, reflecting on the things that I've done and like actually taking an appreciation for them though. I'm curious for you though. I know that video got a great response, but like, what did it feel like for you to like actually sit in the editing room and like pull together so many different things that you had done that year and like actually reflect on it at that point?
Honestly, that was what I said earlier, right? Like you write everything down, you write all these goals down, and it's like really hard to kind of come back and reflect. And that was my big reflecting moment of the year. Like everything that I did in 2024, it was 2024. It was just like, holy shit, like you did that. Like you set out all these goals and you achieved it. And along the lines of that, you weren't able to step back and fully like give yourself a pat on the back or win because you were just go. Like every weekend was go. So being able to sit in my room for 2 weeks, just culling footage and just like kind of like, okay, cool, these are cool shots, but just like kind of reminiscing. I'm like, holy shit, like I got to do a lot of cool things, man. And like that was like the big wake up moment. And I wouldn't say wake up moment. It was a big wake up and realize the shit that you're doing is something that you wanted to do for years and you're finally doing it. No matter like, so like when I complain about some small shit in my day-to-day life, I'm like, oh, XYZ. I'm like, dude, you're able to make a living off what you love to do. And like other people would kill for that. Like you should not be able, like, not like you shouldn't be able to complain, but like step back and smell the roses sometimes. Cause yeah, that video made me realize like I did it. Like I made that little check mark become a reality. And yeah, I think that was like the biggest thing for me is making that the little yellow post-it note.
Yeah.
Make it real and not just be some little, hopefully it works, you know. It fucking worked.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So last question related to that. If you were to put together another one of those, I mean, obviously it would take you probably a year to get through all the footage, but if you had a video to put together at the end of your career, that had like everything that you want to do between the things that you've done now and then the things at the end, what would be some of the moments, whether it's work related or work related, that you would want to have in that reel, like once you hang them up and it's time to be done?
I feel like that is a loaded question, but it's a good
For sure.
question. I feel like the moments that I would have to have in that video, whether it be music related, like my trip, I save a lot of my footage. My footage, I'll go and I have tons of hard drives at home. So like I really have like my first project still on there. So it'd be really cool to like at some point in life, like get a big RAID system and like kind of pull all that together so I can easily pick it out. But I would say like all the memories that I was able to share with all these other people on being on the road, like the bus tours were, I think like the biggest takeaways too, because like, dude, you go do the show and you wake up in a new city and you're able to go enjoy a new thing of food, new coffee shop, like seeing new things day to day that like a lot of people don't get to be able to see in their life. And I think I would have like all those travel moments and being able to share those and like have it be one big reflection of like, dude, I've almost been to every state in the U.S. except Alaska. I don't know when I'll go to Alaska. Hopefully I'll go to Alaska at some point. But it's like, I think it's beyond that of like, oh, this is cool. It's like, I get to do a lot of people's dreams, and I would put all the traveling stuff with shows, there's so many videos I have of just like me and my friends being dumb. And it just goes back to like why I picked up a camera in the first place of like, I'm vlogging, but like, I'm not like, what's up guys? So it's like, it's just like having it in hand and being like, you know, we're doing this today. There's like a lot of content that like no one's ever going to see that like is like that. And maybe I'll go back and edit it. But
Right.
I think it's just like all the stuff. I think I would put all the videos that remind me of why I picked up a camera. And like, yeah, I think I feel like that my answer sucked, and I could have.
No, it's good. No, I like that because it's interesting. One of the biggest takeaways that I had when I was doing photography on tour was that the guy I was shooting for came to me and he was like, "Dude, your concert photos are dope." He was like, "Anybody can do those." It's like there's every single night there's somebody who's like coming into town. They're offering to shoot for free. They want to, and they'll do it for a pit pass, and that's it.
Yeah.
He was like, "Those are a dime a dozen." The stuff that I care about is like the reflective moment that I'm having at a coffee shop when I'm missing my boy, or when we're waiting at this thing for Pete, like whatever those like behind the scenes moments are. And again, I think it's like bringing that humanity into it and being like, yeah, we get to do shit that's like, it's so far out of the norm.
Oh dude. Yeah. It's what I tell people to do. Like I just be like, yeah, I'm a traveling videographer and photographer. And they'll start asking more and more. And it's like, okay, I'm still trying to be like humble, but like, this is what I get to do. And it's just kind of like, it's kind of hard to explain to some people that are so isolated in their community. And when you tell them what you're doing, it almost feels like you're bragging.
For sure.
Right. You know, like,
yeah.
And I don't want to come off as that way. So like, but it's like, dude, I get to live all these cool moments. And so, yeah, reflecting the BTS stuff. It's like just the other day I was making some ads and I was using some of the tour footage, and it made me realize I was texting Kai, I'd be like, dude, that tour was so much fun. It was just a bunch of boys on literally the tour bus, like traveling the US. And I was like, those are the types of moments that are just like the show stuff is cool, but like we had the video constantly rolling in like the bus. And like, that's why I made those vlogs. I made like a 5-part vlog series of the tour just for him. And it has all of our moments. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Life's cool, man.
Life's cool as shit.
Can't really complain on like what I'm doing. Yeah,
I'm with you, man. Yeah, I think. Well, I remember there was a moment my freshman year of college. I had seen one of the car things that you had put out because I think that you were either doing the airbag. I think that you were still doing some of the suspension stuff, and you were one of two people. You and my a family friend named Chad Copeland were both the only two examples that I had of somebody like who I like kind of knew in a roundabout way who had gone entirely into a creative pursuit and just like made that their thing.
Yeah.
And Chad told me one time, he said, he was trying to sell me a drone at the time, so he was being a good salesman. But he had a drone and a camera, and he was like pointing to these photos of these blue whales that were on his wall. And I thought they were like some stock photos. I was like, cool whales, dude. He was like, I shot all those photos back there. And the only reason that I was able to have that experience is because this camera has been my ticket to the world. It's like all of the coolest things that I've done has been because like this thing unlocked all of these cool experiences. And 100%. I just got good with this. And I remember I was having a really hard time like playing football, being in college, doing all this stuff my freshman year. And you had posted something that I remember I was just like, fuck, man, that's so cool. Like he's doing all the things that I want to do at some point. I remember like DMing you and be like, dude, you're doing it. This is so fucking cool. Like whatever. And just like, I think that you inspire a lot of people, and the fact that you like take the time to reach back and like hit people back up and be like, yo, dude, keep going, keep doing your thing or whatever. It seems like you do a really good job of like helping out the community and the people who are in earlier phases, just like you were at one point when like some of the other creatives gave you your flowers. So I think it's super cool. And yeah, I think a lot of what you do is super inspiring, dude.
That's so, I appreciate it, man. It's hard for me to take compliments, honestly.
Me too.
Like, it's like, I'm like, yeah, like, but that really means a lot. And I really do appreciate that. Yeah. Like going back to like when people come up to me and like kind of give me compliments, like, dude, your work inspires me. It's like your creativity, all this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you can give me advice, and always my advice is like, don't give up. No matter how hard it is, you'll find a way to make it work. And like, if this is something that you want to do, like it will happen. Like, I know it fucking sucks right now. And like, we've all been there, the lowest of lows. Like, just keep going, take it day by day, but like, don't give up. And also just be a good person and make those connections. Like what you're doing now, like what you're coming up and like introducing yourself to me could open up hundreds of doors. And you go do that to another person that needs your type of help. Like, just, yeah, don't give up. I mean, it might look really like sad, not sad, but like nothing in sight. You're like, what am I doing this? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, nah, just keep going, bro. Like if you're creative, like.
Those are also the really dope parts of the story that when you get on a podcast, you get to talk about and be like that's what makes the story.
Dude, right. Yeah.
You know
and
what I'm saying?
I'm glad I did this because like, I'm not like I'm tired of giving like the surface level. It's like, oh, how do you start? It's like, well, fuck, like there's so long. Like there's stuff in here that I probably could have added too, but it's just like, that's where I started. And then that's kind of where I'm at. And like, I don't know, man, I'm still figuring out what I want to do. I don't think there's like an end goal in sight right now. I know what I want, but like, I'm just having fun along the way. It's like a roller coaster.
That's cool as shit, dude. Yeah. Brando's 2025 film school.
buy my school, bro. Buy my course.
Oh, that's good shit. Well, dude, I'd love to do this again sometime. Yeah, dude, I'm fascinated with the creative process, and it'd be really cool to like nerd out for an hour or two and just like,
dude, I'm so down.
Talk everything about it. So
yeah, now that I'm more comfortable on a podcast, now I'm like, dude, what am I gonna talk about? Am I gonna say something stupid? Like, I don't know.
Doors are open, bro. You crushed it, and I'm sure it won't be the last time we get a chance to do it. So it'll be fun.
I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Well, for everybody who wants to follow along with your stuff, check out your videos, all that. Where can they find you?
You can find it. Majority of my stuff is on Instagram. It's at Basic Brando. I'll post some like stuff on YouTube, but it's mainly my IG. I probably should start doing more stuff on YouTube, but that's just like.
If they find you on IG, they'll find you on YouTube.
Yeah, you'll find it's just Basic Brando on everything. So
okay, hell yeah, dude. Well, again, I appreciate the heck out of you doing this, and I think whether it's photography, videography, or whatever, people whose stories are like yours, who's like, I've been doing this for 10+ years, blah blah blah. The cringy thing at the beginning is like they're gonna call you cringy, they're gonna make fun of you while you've got your Hero 3 doing your thing, but now it's like. People are asking to be on podcasts and it looks really cool. So I really appreciate you taking the time to like lay out that entire story for everybody and like inspire the people who are still in that like GoPro Hero 3 phase of their journey.
But now they got the Hero 11s, you know?
Yeah, so shortcut that shit. Hero 11 plus YouTube, you're in there, dude.
You're good, bro. You're good, bro.
I love it. Well, dude, I appreciate the heck out of it. And for everybody listening, keep creating and be where your feet are. Peace, everybody.
Solid.
Bye.